Hello everybody, welcome back to EPIC47 Valorant. This is the final game before our stage grand finals here.
Yes.
Is TSC at the top of the throne waiting for their final challenge. And one of these candidates was one where TSC clearly asserted their dominance. They're looking to bring it back between REY and Control Esports. It's a semi-underdog story against one of the big favorites, destined to eventually go against TSC in this final, but we have to wait and see if they can go through REY. I'm Shiva, joined by Puffer Bob for the last game of Saturday before our grand finals. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling excited. We kicked off this morning. Me on the first best of 3, then you followed. So we're already warmed up, we're excited. We've seen these teams battle it out throughout the weekend, ever since Friday and that beginning. It's been great. I think they've had the moment to display it, especially REY Esports. We thought at first they were still the organization we casted all the way back a couple of months, but that's a history on its own, and we're going to leave it in the past.
They may be a semi-meme team, but they're not actually REY, and that's the positive thing. That's
True.
a positive thing, guys. So
yes.
That being said, this team has gone crazy, and I think we can quickly go into the veto straight away to look into these maps, because we want to see which maps that have been available here for REY, because from what I know, this is different, and I'm happy for it. Corrode Abyss as the opening 2.
Yes.
Finally, no bind jail. We have a unique map in this best of 3. Bless whatever up in the sky has allowed us for that to happen. I mean, granted, right off the bat, you can see REY banning off the Haven against Control, which makes sense. Control are a very good team on this Haven. Split being banned as well. Corrode Abyss being open is awesome. I can't wait to see what REY have to offer. Straight off the bat, I immediately think Chamber. Chamber is a big agent off of Winch from this REY team. I'm curious if Control are looking to join that in, because players like Drog, for example, are very noteworthy on that Chamber. But a lot of composition variation is possible on Corrode. You could run the Rays, you can run the Waylay Yoru, you can run the solo Waylay or Yoru, you can run Neon, who's also very popular on this map.
Yeah.
Big options for compositions. The question is on whether or not they'll pick one or the other.
I think they're definitely going to see the Waylay, especially from Narkipu. Definitely from Narkipu.
That's valid.
I think, Narkipu is just insane on the Waylay. We've seen him on Split, we've seen him on many more maps, and he just knows how to play around it perfectly. Again, especially on the openings on Corrode. Sometimes it can get rough. Even agents such as the Viper, the Vice, they can make it bare near impossible, but with the Vice, Waylay having just a nice little getaway, or rather get on top of it and enter with your team following along, and also then you have that refract where you can get out safe and sound without needing to take much challenges. I think it's a great agent, but in general, then we head on to Abyss. I have not seen Abyss. I've seen Corrode. You've seen Bind.
I've missed Abyss so much, man. I've seen way too much Bind. I mean, at the end of the day, Bind being the decider is chill. We're going to get into our agent select now as our teams decide. It's not Haven on the screen straight off the bat. This is a Corrode. I'm not sure what's going on with this one, but it is Corrode, not Haven.
Yes.
And these agents already look insane from both sides. What am I looking at here? Solo Omen with Phoenix Yoru, Chamber on REY, and for Control, Neon Waylay Brim Sage Sky. What is this pair of compositions?
Are we just mixing up maps for the loves of it?
Surely not. Like, they must know they're playing Corrode. This comp is off the wazoo. There's no Astra. There's no Yoru Waylay.
Viper?
No Viper either is really interesting. No Vice from either side. This is a wild pair of comps that I'm looking at here.
I'd expect maybe
give me a thumbs up if those things are right. The things.
But
thanks.
My goodness, this really is going to be booming into an exciting matchup. Again, we have been seeing a lot of default comps, but this, unlike anything we've yet to see. And looking over towards Control, like you mentioned, it's going to be that double entrance. The Neon and Waylay, sure, they can work around each other, but the Sage and Brimstone, really, especially the Initiator, normally not being a Sova, nor not being a Fate. It's going to make for some new plays, but we're off to the pistol. We're going to be in round number 1 here.
It's down to Control and REY Esports
to set themselves off to a beginning, and let's see who can do it.
Here we go. This match really matters for these guys. Lose and you only get that bronze, but these guys want some pricier silverware than that, as they want to face TSC in the grand finals, who have been ever-present and indomitable in this tournament. They're looking to make themselves shine brighter, and so far, so good for Control. This is the start that they're looking for here. Kakuzera with another one. Almost overshadowed with an immense roar from the stage that we're hearing on the opposite side for the OSU finals here. I could barely hear myself here.
No.
The stage host happened
I don't hear myself anymore.
Just about As Narki swinging in, the flash doesn't find much. It's Droxler there to support him, but now you're working against the final two. The Headhunter trying to claim its mark. You only have 2 more bullets. You're going to miss both of them. And now down to the Shorty. This is a round done and dusted by this point.
He's overused his resources, but there's not a lot of time left. He's used this rendezvous to pick up this ghost, and this is where he could turn the tables if he wishes to. Though, this position from Zowi's backfired immensely. It's in the 1v1.
He doesn't know.
Zera's playing this so patiently, the diffuse is in, but not a lot of time left, and that is Ray with round 1 here on Corrode on the pistol, done and dusted.
100%. I mean, by the end, it did cut it a bit close here, but Ray, by the very end scape, they got the round.
Wait, can you hear me?
Cut, bite. In general, they found it, and the results here are going to be what matters most. As for the side of Control, a bit rough towards that beginning. But in general, they're going to continue into this match. No force buy we're going to see from them. 2 Sheriffs, not a large investment. And again, they are just going to probably play CQC around that B site, as we're currently seeing from their direction at the moment. Although Ray on the very opposite end, extremely pivoting.
Yeah, they've switched things around a lot. They're focusing a lot of resources on B.
Be right back.
Expecting maybe an aggressive take, but this time it's not the case. It's Jacob pushing up here. And A completely left open.
I do not want to be hearing myself.
Guns, a lot of them. Plans going down, but you got to be careful of the spawn side here.
Got pounce on the judge as well. With these super close angles, it looks like Ray might be taking matters into their own hands and claiming space for themselves. And I mean, this is an eco, so it's not too fearful, but heavy amount of utility invested, and Drug, for the most part, will just be completely overwhelmed. I don't want to do a single thing.
Yeah, Rudy's just in the corner.
Oh my god, why?
Taking this very slowly. He's trying to be a little bit more courteous with these angles, but
it's Morse code.
Almost turning in their crouch patterns. And so fans with another one to Viridian. Slowly but surely, Control could get shut down, but they have given away a lot of space on this site area, and this could have been a mistake. Narkipu's got his 1. Corsa with more! A second from Corsa! It's backfiring like a disaster! Winch needs to make it work, and he will on this Sage. Almost a big threat there. Gave way too much space on the site for Control to play with, and it almost backfired massively. Courtesy of Corsa and Narkipu on their Sheriffs. Sharp shooters, the sharpest in Epic Land.
Oh yeah.
Almost getting the way they wanted.
That was real close. I do like the trust that Flying put in his teammate. The final 2 players again, going to stick that defuse and hope your teammate can do the rest. It was a valid attempt, but by the end stage, could not be prevailed, and now it's going to be 2 rounds opening here for Ray Esports. However, it's only the opening 2 rounds. Their buy isn't going to be somewhat majestic. Control, on the other hand, have been saving up.
Yeah, this time, big buy round coming in through for Control. Now they're going to be able to make things work. Winch with a pick early start this off. Rudy with his Outlaw is great at punishing those bonus buys. A lot of these players are not going to be running those full shields, just not wanting to be able to fully invest into this. And so now it's back into a stalemate. Corsa taken away from Control quickly. Pants should to take next contact, but Pants is looking to be the harbinger of the fake here. Look at the rest will be looking down, but they've already figured this out. Look at where Narkipu's position. He hears them rotating from spawn. And he's going to be able to not only catch them out, but maybe even get some more picks. That's the first dump for Narkipu. And he's going to be the one-man army in this scenario, but he is caught off again by Winch as the trades exchange is coming in. Narkipu just survives, but Winch is really low. And I think now Ray are in a bit of a predicament.
Oh, just a bit. They can't surpass him. Again, the Sloan player is dealing so much damage, but in the meanwhile, we have Pants, who snuck himself into a corner. Can he get it? Yep, Rudy falls. Now that's an upgrade. The Outlaw in his hands. He also has the sight. This is a great rotation we can have, and instantly, it's going to be Ray catching upon it. 2 players final spike in hands. They're going to look to catch this opposition, but in the meanwhile, Control, they're locked outside of their own side. They're going to need to act quickly, but even then...
Pants needs to turn.
Yes, but Narki, he still has another challenge, and he's going to lose it against Pants. Now even dodging in, swiftly finding Drug. That's going to be Winch taken off the board. 2v2 blinded, not much that can be done. Stick the plant to give that time pressure, but it matters not as the round will be finished by Control.
Another clean round done for Control. Almost a little shoddy with that space being claimed there from Pants on the Neon. And I was thinking initially that there was a little bit of a fear factor with that one, but he chose to hold the wrong space. He wasn't paying attention to mid enough, and granted, there's only so much paranoia, only so many you can cover when you're completely alone on the site. I think the choice he just made just wasn't the right one. Unfortunately, the gamble wasn't the thing that paid off. But Control, thankfully for them, will be able to get that gun round. They're going to be able to even things out. With this next pick coming in, Drog going on for this tour de force being thrown out.
There we go. A bit of a stressful moment. Got to squeeze your toy. Continue on with the match. Distance between the rounds, not too major just yet. You can still commit mistakes as of this point. But in the moment, REY Esports once more back to the root. Just going to run right into Corsa. Right on that Sova, picking off Pants. Still trying to find a second. Jacob round link, but now outnumbered. Crossed by Winch. Going to find the refrag. Now the entry onto side will be that much more difficult. The Phoenix great to shut it out, but an instant rotation by REY Esports. Oh, revive onto Pants as well, as he is back in the match. 5v4. Man count for REY Esports, but are they going to use this rotation fastly enough? Will they pick up the velocity to where Control Esports don't react in time, or will they even double back towards A main is the question. I guess we're just about to find out, but as of the moment, they're quite uncertain themselves.
Tempo being slowed down here from Control, and REY are choosing to focus on a full stack this time.
Here we go.
In this background, Overdrive from Pants invested going into this, and Pants again. Overdrive is merciless. He grabs too quickly. Huge. And that heal being thrown out as well to reset him for this next fight. And it's just Frog and Flank here. Granted, this tour de force is massively threatening, but Flank is taking a step extra forward. He has to thin out some numbers sort in somehow, but I think Control at this point are just desperately trying to make some damage and make this value from this tour de force. Pants will quickly get one down, that Overdrive taken away as well, not long before that contact was made. It's a draw together with his teammates by taking time. This off angle from Zowie, not read or expected, and so that's the third round here for REY.
Yeah, a bit of a misinvestment, I'd call it. That chamber, sadly, the tour de force could have been better used in the following round, especially when the economy is going to shift on down, and maybe you can use that gun to replace any investment. However, it matters not. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Control now, once more, 2 rounds below. Going to need to save up this round to keep their piggy bank a bit more in stock. However, REY Esports have been doing phenomenally. They're also building around. Oh, speaking of which, run it back from Control Esports might allow them to go for more plausible retakes. Again, the plans from REY Esports have been very plausible.
3-1 for REY to build this lead ahead. Hands with this judge again. Characteristic, this guy loves running these shotguns and abusing close angles. It's been so successful, even when the rest of his team can't follow through and win these rounds. Against TSC, it was still a common pattern for Pants to abuse these runs on the shotgun.
Your trail.
But look, it looks like Control. They're almost stuffing the whole team out, and they're going to be making a pincer play. And Pants is not in the right distance, and the teammate's trying to back him up, and it pays off. These multi-layered swings from all of REY is going to pay off so well for them as Control are overwhelmed. 3 members left alive, but they're all scattered around this A side as the plan is inconfirmed. Now it's superior weaponry in the arsenal of REY. And they're looking to change the fates here. Flank really low after being tagged, but he will still catch out Zoe. But Winnie is not caught up here. And the spray spam to counteract the swing will not be called to catching anybody, but it's Jacob to stop that from happening from the first place. Now Narky left alone, waiting for this spike to detonate, maybe get an exit frag or two. I think this Shroud that's in his hands is going to be good, so potentially worthy of just keeping it around and not burning too much cash, but REY are building a lead that's quite concerning here.
There we go. We've seen this plenty of times before. We're going to see it once more. There we go. Winch with a beautiful shot onto Narky. Just catches him off guard at the perfect moment. 4 rounds for the pocket of REY. Again, looking really concrete going into this matchup. Concrete is also a good way to put how they've been playing Corrode as a general, especially that explosive, and especially how unpredictable their playstyle tends to be. At a certain moment, they're playing extremely passively, holding back until the execution turns around to be in the very last few moments, or they just decide to throw it all at top mid with everything they've got. 2 duelists sending it forward, and then the side is theirs, and it's as easy as it gets.
Yeah, this Brimstone smoke from REY is going to be the thing that enables their hard aggression. You've got 1 smoke to come up from mid and the other 2 to come up from the site. That's generally what we're going to be seeing from this. And the stage wall is really geniusly strategically done. Even with the stun place to trigger Narkipu to get him off, but he will just barely survive with his life. And he's also had Rudy apply this pressure to force them off the wall. And although they've gotten 2 picks, still Control being able to push away and stay alive, or those last 2 members up from mid. If REY got those 2, this would have been curtains from the beginning, but now there's a chance. Flank is quick to try and get some early picks before the numbers thin down, but Pants won't let that happen at all. Narkipu again! It's magic with this guy. Whenever he's alone, he manages to get so many members, and he's given Control a chance here, but Rudy can't land it towards the end. It's Jacob with the 3rd, REY with 5.
REY with 5. looking real strong, and in general, right now, Control are just not making up for it. But
Yeah,
in the meanwhile,
I can hear
while we're
myself
looking
in
at
these
this matchup
headphones.
again, it is only map
And
number
earlier,
1. There's still moments, there's
my
still
voice was
lifelines. It's
broadcasting
not
to
completely
stream.
over just
I
yet.
mean, I muted
but at a certain
that,
point, Control are going to
which
need to
was the
step
thing that
things
was
up if they want
broadcasting
to
to stream.
pick themselves
So
off
that's
once more. There's going to be
fine,
another one of
I mean,
those buy
that's-
rounds where
that's-
they can certainly find the moment and need
Someone
it.
tell me in chat
How are they
I
going to
can't
defend it?
anymore.
What are they going to do to stop REY Esports and their explosiveness?
But I don't know what's going on. I can hear my own
control as well.
voice.
True.
Look at how much they've got around.
4.
I don't even know why
Right
that's
back,
there. That
Hunter's
has nothing to
Fury.
do with it.
Dimensional Dread, so many options.
That was
they can
something
play
we were
around
trying
with
to
this
sort
as
out
well.
before.
Taking this aggressive angle quickly, they've mismatched the gamble for the double swing on A, and they're going to be dealing with so many members
So
on B. It's a
that's
conversion path
input
throw, as it's carnage out on the site here.
There we go. He's just going to have to take it, but he's stuck himself in a corner and it goes unchecked. This is the greatest opportunity. He's been passed on down. A couple of missed shots. REY seem to be bouncing back for the moment.
That one
player standing only, and
is
Jacob is going to leave his
broadcast stream,
teammate
and I don't-
a lonely
that's
number
not-
1.
If I turned
Single
that on
fold
and
of
up, that would
pants.
put my
3
voice
players
on.
from Control looking to
don't
isolate him.
want
Not
that.
only that, but burn him to the ground. He's thankfully
I
escaped
don't know
that
what's going
damage. I do wonder if still he's being checked as of the moment. Yeah, they know he hasn't moved from the
Because
corner.
Westy was
He's
over
gonna
here
get out
copying
safe
stuff
and sound
over
for the moment, but
backstage.
he has 3 to work against.
And I
Hands
got
could
back
go
and
up
this
through
happened.
elbow as well.
True.
Could run up if it wanted to, but granted, he's not really got any info to play around this with.
Nor any spike.
If he gets his 1, he could get the slide in, but he's just
No.
not got enough time to play. Only 40 seconds left in Control.
Because
are
that
giving
just
him a
means if I
respectable
activate
amount of
that,
space
the
here.
casters
They are
can hear
holding
me.
him quite the cross for Rudy to cover, but it feels like Control
yeah.
are respecting this guy. They're not really playing anything to oppress him. I think they're
30
using the
seconds
paranoia.
left.
What do you want me
of
to
checking
do?
Everything to their advantage. Look at this cross he's got.
I got spike.
They're almost expecting Pants to clear early.
Oh, death trap.
Their
This is what he's
audio?
going to done.
No doubt. Cause is going to be spotted too, and that's clearly done from Control.
There we
Almost
go.
expecting Pants to
Casters.
desperately try and thin numbers before he gets the post blood down.
And even if he were to go for the plant, what is he supposed to do? He sticks it down, maybe.
I don't know if I need
the rest of the
automatic
players
music.
come on, crash him down, overwhelm him in the moment.
So just
And this is going to be another round for Control Esports. The second they've been able to obtain. So again, the distance is starting to close
That's-
between the two. Once more, they can get that tempo running. But in general, it's been the fact that they were able to... Well,
Yeah.
mostly that round was due to the hero. Again, Draw getting himself in that position, and the Hunter's Fury finding an
What was
opening
it for?
kill
What-
was nothing short of a miracle, but it happened, and it was
I
REY
don't know.
Esports, their mistake, that led to it.
Another smoke similar to the
I don't know if
last
somebody
fight
else
we've
in
seen,
there with
which
it
last
for me or
time
not.
running this, they had the wall on the stage come up as a really big surprise for Control and almost caught them fully off guard, but they got away with their life. And with that, Phoenix wall thrown up as well.
I mean, that's
That
just
denies
drone and map
quite
flyover.
a lot
That
of
has
presence, and I
nothing to
think
do with anything.
Control are
Those
playing
aren't
with this
active at the
paranoia.
minute.
Maybe hoping for REY to assume that they're a bit more stacked, a lot more members. But REY instead they're taking this slow as a collective, and they're going to be walking into Narkipu's crosshairs, who will get one, a second, looking for more, and he only gets his 2. But that's the numbers
Yeah,
and value
no, I
here
keep checking
for
myself.
Control,
I thought it went away for a minute.
as they're now looking to assume for a full commit onto A, but instead REY are going swiftly for this rotation. Control do have the dimensional drift, and they're going to be able to use that for the post plant.
Yep.
Boom.
Right now,
Hello?
they're
Yep.
unsure. Once more, REY Esports, they set up
Sorry,
some
gone.
fake alibis. They sage walled off the side of Link. They pushed into A main, and right now are they keeping themselves hidden? No, they're going to push deep into the side. They're going to get themselves the plant again, start turning the tides
I
against
might know what it is
Control
actually, right?
Esports. Make sure that
30
clock is
seconds
ticking
left.
for them mostly, but it's the approach here. And
has
once
a
more
good
from
try.
Control. It's coming in from mid and mid alone. Dimensional drift, like you mentioned, trying to gather information.
elbow.
But where are these players? Where have they gone?
They're using the orbital strike for the defuse, and they're stacking all the way up from elbow side. They're going to have pressure from both sides of that map. And they're using the orbital strike to push
Oh!
in time. Kekuzera will get drogged. That's only one. Still time sufficiently stalled. This is a really creative play from REY. They're just going to have to hope they can win the 1v1 because one of the most tenured players in the game. Card from Corsa. It's up to Pants. Overdrive invested, but it's Rudy to close it out with a shot to the cranium. Close quarters. Rudy with 3. It's Control to take it, but wow, that was close.
Wow, that was close. A heavy investment for both these sides, and sadly the overdrive isn't going to really claim what it was meant to. It was a last-ditch effort, but it went heavily against him. Again, a headshot was all that was needed. Rudy still walks out on top, and that's another round for Control. Now, once more, it's kind of that momentum swing that we've seen a lot from these teams. Surprisingly a lot going into not only EPIC47, but many other events, many other tournaments in general. It's just a team being really good for 5-4 rounds, and the opposition finds themselves cracking the armor. All of a sudden, story turned.
So, my mic is
Half turned here.
regardless of what that says.
really, really close in that last round, and everything was used to how we would have expected it, including that use of the overdrive, desperate for Pants to finish the round. But I think that loss of the overdrive will really sting here for REY. They're not going to be able to have any significant pushing power with that overdrive now, and they're really short on ultimate economy. And granted, so are control, but I think this comp is going to be favorable for them on that defense, which is strange to say when they're running basically triple duelist, but these compositions are very strong defensively. Yeah, Phoenix Wall is great for denying instant sightways to give a Nagapu great space to push up on ahead. Drogstar with this chamber can get his one and back out safely, flank on some very quick rotation capabilities with this Yoru alongside some great flashes for post. There are some good things that Control have with this double duelist setup, or triple duelist setup basically with the chamber.
Yeah.
And REY, honestly, they've done decent work at counteracting this, but Control have unfortunately not really been able to match it so far. But these last 2 rounds have been promising at the very least. It looks like we're going into
trying something for a minute. Your audio might cut off, guys.
Which is important to note. Not entirely sure exactly what has happened.
No, I can still hear myself.
I do wonder how it's going to be working out once REY
So doing that, I can still hear myself though.
Again, the Sage is something that's also been off guard. It has found value, not to discredit that.
These are crossing electrolytes.
They can do their own
They have none.
from the attacking side in general. But yeah, like you said, that overdrive no longer being an availability. Control also having a from the shadows. As for now, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see as the technical difficulties are getting resolved in the background. Again, it has been a bit of a scrap between these two teams. Mistakes also have been noticed, but I think as we continue further into the best of 3, I'm assuming those are going to get less and less prevalent.
We're waiting to get full confirmation whether we'll be taking our time with this. I think all we can really focus on now is how these comps from REY are going to be adaptable. You've got the Waylay Neon, which is good as a 2-pronged approach on the aggressive, but I think on top of that, these 2 agents with this Sky and Sage do have a lot of versatility in how they're going to play this. I think you've got the Sage Wall for both blocking sightlines, but also for elevating sightlines to enable you to take more angles. We've seen it on multiple instances, both in other tournaments that we've recently casted.
True.
Sage has found a bit of a higher proficiency on Corrode, mostly for that verticality. But you've also got several good aspects. For example, some long sightlines offensively can enable you to have some versatile healing ranges. If you wanted to go aggressive, for example, down through here, you can have Sage stationed up pocket and have somebody heal from a link. You can also have slows on some of these very tight chokes, particularly around the A side here. If you have something like the Neon, then they can't do much. If they have something like the Neon, they can't do much about it, but all they have here is this Yoru that can push through. They haven't got any significant movement here from Control, and in my honest opinion, I think the Sage honestly is a decent counter from that perspective, but that depends on if they even take the side. If they go a different side from the Sage, then that doesn't really mean much at all, especially because they don't have any other Sentinels at their disposal. You've got Chamber on the other team as well from Drog, who can just have safe picks up through mid, really strong range in mid control. I'm really curious on that adaptation coming through, because at the moment it seems like for the most part Control like to go for a very split default. If anything, they like to have both of their duelists take aggressive sightlines from either A or B, and they willingly take fights and use some utility to claim space and, of course, more importantly, a lot of info. If REY aren't there at all, then it's clear mid and B are the priority, and that can be adjusted for Control.
You know, I like all those points, but there's one thing that I want to mention. We're talking not only Sage in general, we're talking Sage on Winch. The chamber player. That is the one thing that I am very curious about, as if maybe REY Esports were hiding that the entirety, because normally they were fantastic on the chamber. Not to take that away, but is this some sort of trump card hidden away? Is Winch secretly the best Sage player the world has to offer? I guess we're about to find out, but in general, again, once that swap happens between roles, a completely different playstyle is going to enter the field. Even going into this next round, we can already take a look at Pants, who's on a judge, meaning something is in the plans. Something is in the making here for REY Esports as they're going to continue into this next round. And I wonder how that's going to counteract Drogstar as well, because earlier we saw them get extremely aggressive around that top midpoint, which I'm imagining that's where the Chamber would position himself, especially with that gun, even flank buying it now, just to double down on it. Maybe that's not going to persist. Either way, if REY Esports do end up taking that that approach of playing once more double duelist, push forward with the Skybird, with the Siege Walls, with all the utility they have to throw at them, they will be met with what could be potentially a very grim end or an amazing kill onto an even more amazing player such as Drogstar, who would be the one holding it. And of course, a lot more here is for the side of Control. They are still 2 rounds behind. They do want to get themselves in a better position, mostly because they would be the fan favorites here. REY Esports in general, not only are they a bit of a jokish name, not necessarily in a not necessarily in a faulty way, but the fact that it's not the original REY Esports everyone was accustomed to back when they were inside of Tier 3, but the fact that they've taken that, then they came out of nowhere. A team that has lurked in the shadows, now displaying absolute greatness and taken down some of the stronger teams, even facing off Control Esports, which, I mean, again, fan favorites, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it's so unfortunately this tech pause, we haven't been able to find the resolution to it, so we're still waiting. It is on the player's side, where something appears to have gone wrong. We're waiting on that full confirmation. But why don't we be a little more retrospective and talk about what's been going on this entire epic, right? Why don't we, instead of talking about what we really can't talk much about right now, why don't we talk about what's been going on this entire event? How have you been feeling about this tournament? What do you think?
Are you asking me because it's my first time?
Partially, yeah.
All
sure.
right, you know,
well, this is your first time at Epic LAN.
Yes.
You're, you know, I assume you've had a good time.
I've had such a great time. I've had such a great time. People are great. We love Bind. People are also great. I got met up with the OSA community thanks to Shiba again, and they were extremely lovely. I think I also got to meet up with a lot of CS players I know. The entirety of the UK community, most of them that I know, are here. At least like 80-90% of people are here, and even the new people that I got to meet either through Shiba, either through someone else, they have been fantastic. It's been a lovely chat. Also, the teams from Valorant, we got to talk with Pucks, who we casted, who did not sadly make it into the playoffs, but they were all great, and the matches themselves as well have been quite quality. It's been a bit of a 50-50. Either it was probably one of the most insane matches, or it was a bit of an upset, but either way, those are bound to happen anyways.
Yeah, and I think now that these teams are being rounded down, we're finally going to be able to see some really good quality of Valorant coming into this. And as I say that, Nagipu does team flash his own chamber and also falls off the ring out of volley. It's almost ironic whenever I talk about the caliber of these teams, the shenanigans that they like to throw around.
If you
here.
go,
This opening round is going
I've got
back
your
in as
trail.
the tech pause has ended, and already a lot of contact being made here. Nagipu out of the picture with the
sorry,
back.
chat. I don't know why my voice is still broadcasting to
that
this.
confirms that many members here of Control bunkered up round A, and it's up to Rudy to hold the fort, but he can only do so much here, as so the full side of B is going to be in the control of REY.
Falling victim to Jacob, now Controller, one player below, but the side is overtaken. Flasher coming top and looking to be recontested once more. Corsa good for the second. Now Pants and Jacob fall, but down to the Brimstone and the Sage. Can REY Esports handle it all down by these two players? Is there enough of a burden to shoulder? Doesn't seem like. Kakazera will fall flank, leaves it all down to Winch and finishing the job while at it.
Pretty clean as it is, really. Corsa being the big hero as we expect. From what we've seen, at least, he's had a little bit more of a quiet experience from our perspective from when we've seen him, but we know him as one of the greatest players to ever be on Epic LAN, and hopefully, be it in through this game or through Grand Finals, if Control win, we hopefully will be able to see more of that glory from Corsa. We've already seen a little bit of magic coming in, especially now that he's on one of his more famous roles at Epic LAN on the Sova. Usually he's on that Sentinel role, but for this composition, it calls for a scan initiator, and Corsa's the guy to answer there.
I would love to see him on the Cypher once more. He is absolutely great to see him on the Sentinel role. Either if it's not the Cypher, maybe even on off-pick, because considering what we currently have when it comes down to compositions, I wouldn't be surprised with a deadlock. There's going to be another re-swing that we've seen earlier. Narky taking the spearhead position with an op-right behind him. Going to push on forward really with a couple of wall backs, getting dangerously close. There's the second flash incoming, which will fall to it. Now you want to back yourself up. A Drogstar is holding you back. You get overzealous, a step ahead too much, and Zabi finds one refrag. Flag there, not allowing it to get much further than that. Trying to get yourself away from being spotted by the Owl drone. Jacob, hold down the side, perfect timing. You go for that shock dart, and you pay the ultimate price. It is a 2v3, but REY Esports, we've seen a similar round, and have Hunter in hand, good for it, with flanks once more on that coup de grace.
Flank was there, able to help him out, thankfully, and so it's going to be saved. We're waiting for the right moment for REY to fully strike again. But this time, Control bounce back. Drug and flank together in unison, covering for those full aggressive angles on REY. And although there was a lot of initial investment coming in, it just wasn't the case. Control have been able to fully bring this back from 5-1 up to 5-5 even. This might be a very tightly knit half coming in for this, Puffer. I'm curious on the extra lengths that we're going to be seeing here. Still not run it back invested here from Narkipu. We've seen him hold on to that for quite a long time, and as the big engage from REY on the opposite side of B comes in, it's going to be the forced back away here from the Yoru.
Smoke, the only thing separating an absolute bloodbath, but the Sage Wall to put it up. Now block him out for the moment, while isolation around elbow here. Flank doesn't have that gate crash set up anymore. Corsa is backing him up, but the run it back shut out by Xiaoyi. Decent guns and coming from Control. REY, though, they're only working off of Sheris and a Bucky, and it's working diligence. Now Phantom picked up by Narkipu. They've gotten themselves deep on towards this top mid, but it seems the Sage Orb is just slowing them down, making it near impossible. Missed shots go both ways. Witch finds himself Drugstar, and an overwhelming amount of numbers that just can't be competed with. Control, it's all left to Narki.
Oh, what a flank from Narki! Hold on a second. There's only an operator on the hands of Zowie, but thank goodness for him, he's kept his composure. And by some miracle to Thrifty for REY, they were already going off sheer weaponry, borrowed cash, borrowed time. But it's Narkipu, who looked to be the big mean boss, to be shut down by a pickup second-hand operator from Zowie. A big sigh of relief there for REY.
Oh my, I mean, it cut it close once more. Some of these rounds have been ridiculous, if we're being quite honest, but so has been this half. Control now have the last opportunity for a 6-6 split before heading over towards that attacking side. Now they're waiting for it. We've seen it 2 rounds back-to-back. Control have played around that op, being on the chamber, followed with Narkipu pushing deep with that Phoenix. Not going to be happening as they recognize REY can adapt when you give them enough time. So for now, playing it a bit more safe and letting REY have the space. You know, give them mid if they want to. You also have that trademark around Lig if they do want to push themselves up. But there is a flanking coming by 2 players, and Control might have something in the works.
They're making a bit of a split play onto B, but Drog with this tour de force is making things really stressful, and they're trying to extend, but Zowie again, second time that we've taken down. This resurrection has not paid off, but onto the site here, Drog is finally taking care of Rudy onto 1 and gets away safely. Paranoia no longer still available. And so, with the Pincer coming in, the 2 duelists of Control will clean it up. And it's a Team Ace coming in for Control. They've made it 6-6 in this first half.
Yeah, there we go. Successful 6-6. And again, I do have to give credit where credit is due. Not only throughout the entirety of the matches today, but specifically Course as well has been absolutely dominant on the Sova. Not kills-wise as well. He's been able to pull his own weight, but also the Hunter's Furies have been finding a couple of victims. The darts have been great as well, and imagine that owl drone can always come in quite handy. But in general, it's an equal half. It's just who kicks it off going into the second half.
I think finally, after a while, REY's been able to break that 4-round streak from Control, and I think the question is on how individually they're going to be feeling. And my bigger question is how both teams are going to feel against TSE. Because last time we saw TSE play against REY, it was the most dominant win we've ever seen.
TSE are
it has to be the most dominant win I've ever seen here at EPIC in a best-of-3 with an upper final against REY. And REY are going blow for blow against Control, who were also touted to be one of the favorites to be big contesting players against TSE. So I can't tell if it was an off game from REY or if TSE are seriously that much on a different level.
They seem to be. They're off the charts.
Both teams have done a good job, and with this hard engage from Control, I'm really not sure what's going on from REY here.
Yeah, I mean, REY pushed themselves deep into mid, and that gave Control enough time to go into their own spawn, into the spawn of their opposition. Kazira is good enough to take 2 players, major players as well. It's going to be the duelist mostly taken off, so hopefully you get that entrance needed, but it seems you've been locked back to where you began. Right off to B, you're being led a path, but we still have 1 player with a headhunter. It's going to be Drogstar holding his own. He finds Pants, but in a refrag game, it's REY Esports who should walk out on top. Corsa and the Omen, last 2 to stand, but now they have to do it carefully.
This is such a bizarre pistol play from Control. Now with it being a 3-on-2, it's backfired for them, but maybe Corsa can pull up some magic. Decent amount of health, drone around, scan in 10. Is he ready for the next? He gets away from Winch's claws.
Good info.
And he's guaranteed that at least 1 is isolated. Zowie is soon going to be walking into potentially a pair. Winch needs to hurry up.
This is a cross.
Now they're fully confirmed. Corsa is taking the fight to him.
Last player standing.
And Rudy will get Zowie. Somehow this is brought back from Control. It's up to Winch. He's been surgical in this series. He's been surgical around the tournament, but there's not a lot of time left. He's revealed from the recon bolt, and that seals his fate. Control, by seemingly partially a miracle, will win this pistol. What were they doing around this A part? It almost felt like they knew they were being pinted and just fully decided to commit to the isolation and spawn.
Honestly, it was a bit of a Scooby-Doo episode.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. REY Esports, they decided to take a dip down mid. Meanwhile, Control took the other path towards A, and all of a sudden they were searching for each other, but no one could be found. Again, Pistols are kind of known for being that chaotic CQC battle that is just scrappy all around the board. No, not this time around. It was very silent until everyone met up in their own spawn, in the CT spawn, that is. But for now, the economy is going to be thriving for Control Esports. We get that stage wall boosted up. It seems to lock away Control Esports for the moment being. But Narkipu elsewhere, finding three. He's mowed them all down. Kikazira finally shuts him down, but the damage has already been dealt, and Control with another round for their pockets.
I wish we got to see that POV.
Why didn't we
What
see
on
it?
earth was that?
Good
That's a
shot
scam.
today.
Nagibu is
Don't
just a
worry. There are
merchant
other
with these
ways to do this.
multi-kills, brother.
12?
It doesn't feel that way, does it?
No. Oh my goodness. But 2 rounds for Control Esports. That's good. Now they get themselves also somewhat of a bonus. REY Esports with a full buy of their own. I just do wonder how the utility is going to be looking, and especially coming in because Control, they don't really have a full, it's more like a forced mid buy.
Yeah, this is a bonus round coming in from Control, right? And I think with REY hoping to win this round in desperation, they can't concede 3 in a row. Otherwise, this would have gone from 5-1 to them to 8 to 9-6, maybe even more. Double digits potentially here from Control. If they get this round and then the next coming into it. Drugstar with an opening pick and a clean, almost too relaxed pair of kills on his Nexus of victims, but he's still got more to deal with. Zawi looking to get a double of his own, but he's traded by Corsa, and so with the drone coming out to clear the site, it seems like Control will have the site on B, as there's 2 members of REY left to pick up the pieces here.
That's going to be Haven picked up by the Omen. Control Esports given the utmost of ground. Free real estate for the moment, but Kikazera is trying to cut down this rotation. He finds flank. Now 2v2. EQ is out, but there is still that vantage point that the Omen holds. Actually going to send that paranoia forward. Kikazera is trying to find his breakthrough, but again, you have no information. You're going to get thrown down by 1. And it's down to the Brimstone and Silva to handle things with business. Both guns locked down in, but Corsa, it's down to which position he holds. He seems safe as of the moment, but uncertain which angle Brimstone's going to approach from. Kikazera right around the corner and still has that smoke up to the availability, but he's there. He showed himself. They both know about each other, and Kikazera just expects some attack pick 4, and it's a round back for REY Esports.
You can hear REY from all the distance on those areas yelling for that victory, cheering for it. Thank goodness for that. A big sigh of relief for REY. They lost that one. It could have been a big, big spiral. Kakuzera being the hero. Went together, taking that 2-on-1. I think the smoke from Kakuzera was excellent as well. It almost felt like it was adding some layers of paranoia up for Corsa. And that caused a lot of issues for them.
Certainly did. Control Esports, we're still a round above. However, they're going to need to change their pace. Again, Flank kind of isolated himself. Kakuzera is only holding that angle. The information should have come on through the second. Brimstone was spotted, flashes are out, a double utility, and Jacob has passed on through. Flank unexpected, but Ben read into. It's a kill here against Control. They have lost their hero, but the position here is still completely split up. The entirety of Control stretched thin throughout the map. A side is left vacant, but it's going to be mid-Control. That might be contested. Drogstar looking to step himself into the smoke. Outside in the next second, now met with many more players, as it seems Control are just crumbling under the pressure. And well, with 2 players remaining, REY Esports are looking to equalize things out. There's still the run it back that could be used, but the side of A is given over towards Control, and this is something they can anchor off of.
Rudy and Nakipu together here pushing up on the A site, and they've managed to get the plant down. But REY have so many numbers coming into this. We're waiting for some big return on the fight. And now with more contact to be made. Together. Rest of the team looking for contact. Rudy gets nothing here from this contact. And now Nakipu's left to pick up the pieces. He's got the run it back. He's been holding it potentially until Valorant 2. He misses the molly. It's a disaster on the Phoenix from Nakipu utility-wise, but individually with these fights, he's always been near flawless, but not enough for Winch to finish, to deal more damage. It's the job finish for Winch. The fuse coming in. It's 8-8 here.
Yeah, it's already showing that these players are getting a bit exhausted. Not necessarily fully, but again, just an awkward fireballing coming from the Phoenix. Tried to burn it all down, but another EQ. This has been a very back and forth matchup between the 2 teams. I'm imagining REY Esports are going to take a very aggressive upfront about it. Again, mid has been a heavy contested zone, especially going in towards the second half. The more we've approached it, the more these two players, or rather the more REY Esports have been loving just pushing deep down into it and fighting control in their own territory.
Now that these fights have been building up a little bit more, a lot more ultimates at the possession, including Drog.
You want to play? Let's play.
And I mean, I think the goal for him right now is to take highly aggro space up from mid to snuff out any attempts of fighting or lurking through this area. And Drog's claims a lot of space. In fact, he's leaving his rendezvous range to fully invest in this space. So much confidence from the chamber here of Control, and aside from that, Control made a tiny bit of space up from A, but then they've moved back, believably so, courtesy of the space made from Drog here.
Oh, could be Grandeur. We have players moving up towards B, seeing as it's not contested. CTRL might be looking to take up on that task, but A in general is left vacant. Jacob has been scouting out for information, spotting no one. Needs to act upon it. The rotation needs to be there, but it's going to be the orbital cannon claiming Corsa as now top mid overtaken. They're looking to fight it back, but Pants is completely alone. Rudy's going to take it. Drogo finds one onto CTRL somehow as one snuck upon sight. It's down to Jacob to hold it by himself until the rest of the team comes on in. Will be taken out tour de force fashion. Two players on REY Esports now locked outside of their own site. The plant is inevitable by this point.
The Resurrection is available here for REY as well. Ooh, Winch might be able to go up from top mid and res another teammate at the top.
30 seconds left.
And Control are pinging for this. They know that this is potential. And so they're looking to claim early space to ensure the positions here. Zowie was up on A for such a long time. Now he's looking to go for a bit of a flank round from mid. And this orbital strike that was invested from REY has taken away the Drog's trip and also killed Corsa in the process earlier on. So this flank pressure from Control is gonna be immense here.
The time is strict.
Crystals are thin. There's not a lot of time until the spike is down. Zowie needs to act quickly here.
One enemy
Winch, a
remaining.
second from Rudy as the flank pressure is out. Turning 180 degrees to deal with these members.
remaining.
And Kakuzera onto Drog.
Hold on to your
We'll get
hats.
one, but there's no time left as there's Naki to deal the killing blow. It's 9 rounds. Control will take the lead again.
It was quite a large gambit. The second we saw REY Esports go for that revive, it kind of hurt us already. At least me personally, I was heart aching because the speed would have been needed to amp up at that very moment. It already took some time for the full rotation of the Sky and the Sage to go around the map, search for that revive, and get back to the site. By that point, the spike was already quite deep into that territory of going off. But Control Esports, they had just held it out for an extra moment. They even got the kills, and it was all left down to a lone Brimstone. Kakuzera, he's been great. But
Yeah, with such a heated map we've had so far on Road, unfortunately we may have to cool our jets a little bit as we do have to go into a tech pause coming from our production. So we will be back with the break, but unfortunately there are some things that really need to be ironed out right now. So we will be back hopefully soon with this game because it's only just getting to get more exciting. So we'll see you guys after the break.
Are their mics still live?
I need to restart VMix because of the audio issues.
we're going to look to solve them as soon as we can. It tends to happen. Again, everyone's been under a lot of pressure. It's been a long day. We're already going in towards the late night. It's 9:20 p.m. over here in the UK times. But in general, as we're looking to set everything up, also, you know, just in general, maybe it hasn't been, maybe not everything has been going right. But yes, we are gonna right now in about 3 minutes, give or take, or we're gonna cut the break. We're gonna restart the software so we can get everything back up and running and fix things as soon as we can. Again, we apologize deeply, but once we're gonna be back, everything should be fixed. So just please stay patient. We're gonna be here with you as soon as we can be.